Alright, what's up everyone? So yesterday Nintendo revealed the Nintendo Switch in a 3.5 minute long video, and near the end of the whole trailer they showed off what looked to be Splatoon 2. And so during this video you'll be seeing the part of the reveal trailer currently playing in the video right now, and I'm just going to be going over some of the details from the video that I could see and share some of my thoughts on these things and share some little info that you might not have noticed yourself or that you didn't know. And I've got a list of things here, so I'm just going to start with something immediately that's very apparent when you can see it, is that there is a small gameplay segment. It's not too long, but we get to see a team practicing a strategy in the game, and it shows a small clip of the gameplay. Unfortunately, this small gameplay clip doesn't show any of the HUD, so we don't know if that's different or anything. But it does show off a brand new map, which looks to be like a brand new skate park. What's also interesting is that someone pointed out that there is a small little bridge you can see, and if you look, there's turf painted on top of it, and there's different turf painted underneath it, meaning that you can walk underneath that while you can still walk on top of it, and which doesn't exist at any point in the game now, currently. And it is also shown that the gyro controls, motion controls, exist in the game mostly because the camera movement shown in that very slight clip is actually way too fluid to be the stick controls from the game. So either the stick controls became very fluid, or that the controllers will in fact have gyro inside them. And then another thing is that the game will actually support more than one controller. Splatoon currently can only be played with the gamepad, while in this demonstration it's shown that it can be played using the little the side remotes that go onto the screen, and then it can also be played with the Switch Pro controller. So it means that both of those have to at least have a combined gyroscope controls and the ability to work with the motion. Or I guess the stick controls could be very fluid, but I really hope that they don't switch off of that and allow people to still use the motion controls. So another thing you'll notice immediately is the spawning animations for the characters have changed drastically, to where instead of just spawning and holding the weapon simply, they each have their own little animations, such as the roller putting the roller behind their shoulder, or the charger holding the charger up, instead of just spawning and putting the weapon in front of them like they do now. And another thing is there's a part of the spawning animation that is missing. If you look at your squid spawning now, or coming out of squid form, you'll notice there is a few frames of animation where you get those like creepy distorted eyes on the model. Those frames of animation have been completely removed, so that is no longer a thing. Another thing is there's hairstyles. Rather than having the generic like male and female hairstyles the game has now, there seems to be a few options you can choose from, and I'll get more into that in a bit. There's new weapons, so these either are like revamped models of like the Tenatech and the Krakon or whatever, and it's just going to have different kits, or these new weapons entirely with completely brand new stats and things like that. And another thing someone pointed out on Twitter was that these Inklings are actually wearing different like pants. So some of them are still wearing shorts and some of them are actually wearing pants. So will you have the ability to actually wear shorts or wear pants in the game? So now I'm just going to get to some of the smaller things. They showed off like a team making a strategy, when in reality there's very few moments where a team will actually have that kind of like sitting down and planning out exactly what they're going to do, because Splatoon is more like a in the heat of the moment kind of thing, where you can have like a general rollout plan, but everything you do must be based on something that someone else does. And so a solid like, this is our game plan, this is what's going to happen, will rarely work out, because anything can happen, and it's not like you're gonna know what the enemy is going to be playing at any point. So these kind of plans don't really work out, and it's more so like how do we start and how do we get back in is the more like a general plan that most teams have. And then another thing was Nintendo's representation of this event that's shown in here. Now, in a recent interview with the developers, they were asked how they felt about the community playing and taking Splatoon seriously in a competitive sense. And the developers were all for it. They said that they were excited to see what the community could offer and to show our skills. Now, this was mostly talking about the ESL events, but I feel like this is still like a broad statement for the whole community that they are interested to see what we can do. And because of Nintendo's recent changes where they're more willing to assist in esports, especially with the Smash Bros. Events at EVO, it shows that Nintendo is maybe debating taking Splatoon 2 or whatever this is, if it's a port with more stuff or whatever. They're planning to take it a bit more seriously and allow for more serious things to happen from the game. So maybe we'll actually get that spectator mode that people have been wanting. And because of an earlier demonstration in the same trailer, it shows that people can put two switches next to each other and they'll still be able to connect to one another. So that could be like a pseudo LAN form, like a pseudo LAN mode for Splatoon 2. Is if you get people with enough consoles near each other, they could connect through that, a wireless connection to one another through like an infrared sensor or whatever it is. They can just connect without having to have internet. So that's a possibility, and it's definitely brought the hype up for a lot of people. That when they showed that stage with all the people in the crowd, place packed with people wanting to see all these players. Now, what's kind of weird is there's like people saying that there might be a spectator mode. However, in the video, it's very clear that they plugged in all the Switch screens, so the display would switch to the TV, and it was pretty obvious by like the overhead display above the players that in fact they were just using capture cards, and so it was all plugged in so the people in the audience could see the a mirrored image of the TV just above the players, so in like a bigger TV so they can see it. And there may or may not be a spectator mode, but that's all speculation. Another thing is with the inclusion of hairstyles and having the ability to switch between shorts and pants, is would Nintendo include those having their own abilities as well? So I saw on Twitter people were saying, what if a hairstyle had its own ability slot? So say a certain hairstyle would give you damage up and another would give you defense up. Which I hope that that's not how it goes, mostly because that would bring it back to the gear problem, where there's a lot of gear that looks good, but it has a bad main ability or it doesn't have a good brand. So a lot of the gear that I like in the game don't really have the kind of abilities I would use. And that's where like gear editing became really helpful, especially for me, because a lot of the stuff I would make just so I would look better. So my gear, I could have essentially the same gear I'd have on something else, except I could have it on something that looked better. And so just the cosmetic change. So I think it would be interesting to include abilities for hairstyles and your pants and stuff. But I feel like if they were going to go that route, they would have to allow you to change it, like to change the main ability. Otherwise, it's just going to come back down to gear, where people will use these really bad hairstyles only because it gives them X ability. And so, for all we know, the worst hairstyle in the game could be the only one with the damage up ability. So I don't know, it's speculation, but I think that would be pretty interesting to have, only if we could change it. So other than that, there's not too much footage. This is, as I'm going on, this is just going to be looping in the actual video itself. But that's pretty much it. There hasn't been much else announced. We don't even know the price tag of the system itself. So I will be doing more videos of this as more trailers for the game come out and more information comes out. But as of now, we just have this small little clip, and then the official Splatoon JP, which is like the account, like the only Splatoon official account that tweets out information. They tweeted out earlier today, not long after the reveal, that that it was brand new stuff. So it kind of helped towards people assuming that this was going to be a sequel rather than just a port with some updated stuff. So I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys look forward to more information, and I will see you all later.